Welcome to Reddit Echoes, the place where real-life stories full of raw emotion and surprising twists are told vividly and intimately. Here we don't just hear personal experiences, we feel the struggles, conflicts, and profound lessons of everyday life. Each story is an echo, a wordless melody of real life, capturing the full spectrum from joy and pain to growth and change. If you love authentic, deep stories that touch the heart, sit back, relax, and join me as we step into the world of Reddit stories waiting to be discovered right now. Story 1. When my boyfriend pushed my face into the birthday cake, I don't regret slapping him. My name is Trang. I'm 34 years old. This story happened during a joint birthday party of mine and my boyfriend Charles, who is 38. I never thought a special, meaningful occasion would turn into the worst memory of my life. A date night with my husband that I'll never forget, because he played a prank that to me was almost a life-threatening threat. Preparing for the party. This year, I decided to throw a joint birthday party with my boyfriend, an intimate little gathering. I rented a private room at a restaurant and invited 11 people, 4 close friends of mine, and the rest were Charles's family. I was very excited because this was also a chance to celebrate a major career milestone. Although there was an income gap between us, I agreed to split the food costs roughly half and half while I took care of the venue and other arrangements. I wanted everything to be perfect for this big day. Charles took care of inviting guests, buying the cake, and gave me a cute gift, a set of spices that suited my taste perfectly. The party began happily. On that day, I dressed up nicely, makeup, hair, eyebrows, nails, everything. I wanted to shine and make this day unforgettable. The guests arrived, the atmosphere was lively and joyful. When the birthday cake was brought out, everyone gathered around the table for photos. I didn't want to blow out the candles directly to avoid germs, so we just posed as if blowing out candles and took pictures. Everything was going well. The terrifying moment. When it was my turn, I held the cake ready for a private photo. Suddenly, Charles pulled me close, shoved my face straight into the cake. I couldn't react in time. It felt like a bucket of cold water was poured over me. My face was covered in cream, the cake crumbled all over me, and my hair was also full of cream. I struggled, pushed him away, but he laughed loudly and continued smearing cream on my hair. His family and the guests laughed and applauded as if it was a funny joke. My friends were shocked and tried to intervene, pulling him away. I felt deeply hurt and extremely embarrassed. I couldn't believe the person I loved would do that to me and turn me into the joke of my own party. Trying to keep calm, I tried to go wash my face in the restroom with my shirt-stained cream smeared everywhere. When I came back, the atmosphere had completely changed. Charles's family looked at me coldly. Some showed signs of displeasure silently. I knew the incident had made them unhappy. Fiery argument with my boyfriend. After the party ended, I told Charles straight that his actions were completely unacceptable. He argued that it was just an old joke, that everyone had experienced it, and that I was the one ruining his image in front of his family. I cried, saying it wasn't a joke, but a deep disrespect. I reminded him of my efforts in my career, that this party was not just a birthday, but also a celebration of what I had achieved. Decision to break up. Although I still loved him, I decided to end this relationship. Charles said I didn't love him, and that his mother felt offended when I slapped him. I do not regret that slap, because I believe it was my way to protect myself against his hurtful and outrageous behavior. Final thoughts. I want everyone to understand that respect is non-negotiable in any relationship. If someone hurts you, no matter the reason, you have the right to protect yourself and set boundaries. Life is too short to endure careless and painful jokes from the one you love. Story 2. My stepmom insists I call her mom, but I just want to keep a real bond with my birth mother. My name is Nam. I'm 16 years old. Today I want to share a story about the complicated relationship with my stepmom and my refusal to call her mom. I hope this story helps anyone going through something similar feel less alone. Past and relationship with my birth mother. I was born from an incomplete relationship. My dad was 33 and my mom only 22. Mom didn't want to be a mother while Dad didn't want her to have an abortion. They agreed that Mom would leave and Dad would raise me alone, but if Mom wanted to come back, she'd have the right to see me. For the first 7 years, it was just me and my dad. He wasn't used to dating anyone else, so it was a special time for us. I remember the gifts Mom sent for birthdays and Christmas, along with heartfelt letters. I also spent some time with her family when she came back, creating precious memories I still cherish. Relationship with stepmom, Andrea. When I was 14, Dad started dating Andrea, and a year later they got married. Andrea has 15-year-old twin sons from her previous marriage. I got along fairly well with my stepbrothers and somewhat accepted Andrea, although I still felt a distance. Andrea wanted me to call her mom from the very first meeting. She gave 2 reasons. 1, I didn't have a mom. 2, she wanted our family to be more united. Refusing to call stepmom mom, I didn't agree to that. I felt it was wrong to call someone mom who I never truly bonded with, like my birth mom. I still have a close relationship with my birth mom, and I can't call Andrea mom when she's often cold and can't replace my real mom. When Dad married Andrea, I felt he forgot about me, ignoring my feelings and thoughts. Conflict erupts. A year after the wedding on Andrea's birthday, everyone bought her gifts. Andrea didn't want material gifts, but a gift of words from me. At the party, she asked if I would accept her as my mom and hoped I would call her that. I flatly refused. No, I already have a mom. Andrea reacted angrily, calling my birth mom a part-time worker and saying I was disrespectful. Consequences and feelings. After that, Andrea became cold and even hostile toward me. Dad didn't support me, telling me I should grow up and forgive for family harmony. I felt isolated and hurt that Dad didn't understand me. I wondered why a grown man like Dad would force his child to do something I don't want and can't accept. Thoughts and decision. I believe family love can't be based solely on titles or force. I love my birth mom and can't just forget everything to call Andrea mom when I don't feel that way inside. I want to be myself, respected for my feelings and choices. Message to those in similar situations. If you're in a similar situation, don't feel lonely or guilty for not calling someone mom if you haven't truly accepted them. Everyone has the right to feel and express love in their own way. Keep your emotions honest and speak your thoughts sincerely. Conclusion. Thank you for listening to my story. If you relate or find this story helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to the Reddit Echoes channel to not miss more heartfelt and meaningful real-life stories. Story 3. Refusing to be a bridesmaid because my sister chose bad friends. Am I the bad guy? My name is Huang. I'm 24 years old. My sister is about to get married and she invited me to be her bridesmaid. At first I was happy, thinking it was an honor and a chance to bond with her. But when I saw the list of friends she chose as bridesmaids, I started to doubt and feel uncomfortable. The truth about the bridesmaid group. My sister, 27, picked a bridesmaid group, mostly made up of people she's hardly close to, even having mocked and ridiculed them before for being not her style or tacky. Her closest friends, the ones who've always been by her side since childhood, weren't invited. This left me feeling confused and hurt on her behalf. Feeling betrayed, I asked why she chose this group, and she laughed, saying, "It's time to mock them a bit. I want them to fade into the background at the wedding, so I'm the center." I was shocked by the selfishness and cruelty in that mindset. She chose friends just to be her backdrop instead of respecting true friendship. Decision to refuse? I didn't want to be part of that game. I told her clearly I couldn't be a bridesmaid when I felt these people aren't real friends, and that choosing friends just to make herself look better was wrong. I didn't want to contribute to hurting others, even indirectly. Reaction from sister and family. She called me too judgmental and overly sensitive. My mom advised me to support her because it's an important day and we should keep peace. But I still felt it wasn't right to pretend to agree with something I didn't believe in. Conflict and hurt. My sister and I became tense and talked less. I was sad to lose the chance to bond with her on such a big day. I felt hurt that she didn't understand or respect my point of view. Reflection and lesson. I realized that in family, honesty and respecting personal feelings matter more than pretending for peace. I also understood we can't please everyone, and sometimes we must choose to keep integrity. Message to those in similar situations. If you're in a similar spot, don't be afraid to speak your truth. Sometimes saying no isn't selfish, it's protecting your values and feelings. Family isn't always where you sacrifice everything, but where you can be yourself. Conclusion. Thank you for following my story. If you find this meaningful, please subscribe to Reddit Echoes to continue exploring real-life stories full of color and emotion with me. Story 4. I told my wife she couldn't cook the kitchen battle and the price of truth. My name is Dung, I'm 29 years old. My wife Huang is 28. We've been together for 8 years. Throughout that time, the thing that annoyed me most was the kitchen, or more precisely that my wife didn't know how to cook, the cooking situation at home. Since we started living together, we divided the chores and she was responsible for cooking. At first, I thought I could help her learn gradually, but then I realized there was no improvement. The rice was often mushy, the vegetables undercooked, and the meat either raw or burnt. I tried to gently give feedback, but she always said I was too picky and didn't appreciate her cooking. Disastrous meals. There were times she cooked chicken, but when I cut into it, it was still pink inside, nearly raw. I worried about food poisoning, but every time I mentioned it, she said I was overreacting, and that's the traditional way to cook. The rice was either too hard or too soggy. Vegetables were either overcooked or undercooked. Friends who came over seemed embarrassed, and some even refused to finish their plates. Escalating tension, I started feeling exhausted by this. It wasn't just about food, but affected both our health and moods. I thought about cooking myself or sharing the kitchen duties, but she insisted on keeping that role. I warned her multiple times and showed my frustration openly, which made the atmosphere at home tense. A heated confrontation. One day when she put chicken in the oven, I checked the clock and saw it wasn't cooked long enough. When I opened it, the chicken was still pink. I said bluntly, "You're putting everyone's health at risk." She got angry and said, "I don't know anything. My mom cooks this way. Do you think my mom is stupid?" I lost my patience and said, "You're almost 30, and if you can't cook chicken properly, who can?" That hurt her deeply. She cried and called me heartless. Aftermath and reflections. Since then, the atmosphere at home became cold. Friends stopped coming over for dinner. I felt lonely without support or sharing, but I also knew I couldn't pretend to be satisfied with unsafe meals. Finding a solution. I started learning to cook to help her and suggested we cook together. I tried to be more patient when teaching her how to cook properly. Gradually, the meals became more palatable and our relationship improved somewhat. Advice for couples. I understand that not everyone is born knowing how to cook. Patience, understanding, and learning together are the keys. Don't blame or hurt each other over kitchen issues. Conclusion. I still love my wife and believe that with mutual effort, things will get better. Thank you for listening to my story. If you have similar experiences, please share and subscribe to Reddit Echoes so we can understand and support each other. Story 5. I brought my older boyfriend home for Easter family disapproval and endless conflicts. My name is Mai. I'm 18 years old, a first-year student living away from home since I was 15, attending a boarding school overseas. My family situation has never been simple, especially the relationship between my parents and my dad's new partner. A complicated family past. When I was 12, my dad, who was then 45, had an affair with a woman only a few years older than me. This led to my parents' divorce. After that, my dad lived with his new partner while I moved in with my mom. Wedding and the new family. My dad later married that woman whom I never truly accepted. She's much younger than me, and I don't believe she's genuine. My dad's new family is full of conflicts, and I never wanted to get involved. Bringing my boyfriend home. This year, I flew back to Vietnam for Easter and decided to bring my boyfriend, a 38-year-old mature and understanding man, home, pretending he's just a boyfriend, so that no one would suspect. I thought this would create peace and avoid awkward questions about my personal life. Dad and family's reaction. After the party, my dad called me aside and said he felt uncomfortable seeing me bring an older boyfriend home. He said it ruined the Easter atmosphere and made other family members uneasy. I reacted by saying, love has no age limit, and that I did nothing wrong. Consequences and conflict. Afterward, I received many messages from family members demanding I apologize to Dad and break up with my boyfriend. I refused because I didn't feel I was wrong, and because Dad had already hurt me long ago. I also made clear that my boyfriend was not at fault, and that I have the right to choose my own happiness. Thoughts and feelings. I feel sad that my family doesn't accept my choice. I feel isolated and judged just because I love someone not suitable by family standards. I understand Dad hurt Mom and me, but I can't bear being forced to live the way others want. Conclusion. Through this story, I want to say that love knows no age or distance. I hope those in similar situations know they're not alone and have the right to live honestly with their feelings. Message to viewers. If you like this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Reddit Echoes so we can listen to more real, heartfelt stories together. Story 6. Male colleague keeps wearing thin pants exposing his private parts. What I did to put an end to it. My name is Lynn, 19 years old, currently working as a part-time intern at a small company. I want to share the awkward and somewhat unbelievable experience I had with a male colleague named Josh, who made me very uncomfortable during my time at work. Work environment and the strange colleague. I usually dress casually, comfortably suitable for an office environment that's not too strict. Josh, a male colleague in his 20s, often approached me to talk privately when it was just the two of us in the office. The first time I noticed something unusual was when I clearly saw his private parts through his thin pants, repeated occurrences causing discomfort. At first, I tried to ignore it because I didn't want to make a fuss or cause trouble. But every time Josh came to talk to me alone, he wore those thin, tight pants that clearly revealed things. He didn't hide or act embarrassed, behaving as if it were totally normal. Provocative remarks. Josh began making comments about the hot weather, saying things like, "It's so hot today, I have to wear these pants, or I have to choose the most comfortable clothes when it's hot." It made me feel like he was deliberately trying to draw attention. Declining invitation to his home. Once Josh invited me over for lunch, and I politely declined. As I was leaving, he said, "I need to use the restroom, see you later," while constantly glancing downward. At that moment, I knew I couldn't stay silent anymore. Reporting to Human Resources. I decided to report the whole situation to HR, providing detailed descriptions of Josh's behavior. HR took note, initiated an internal investigation, and put Josh under supervision. Outcome and co-workers' reactions. Josh was fired for workplace harassment. However, since then I faced alienation and even teasing from some other colleagues. Some joked that I got Josh fired or complicated a simple matter. Feeling isolated made me very sad, but I believe I did the right thing. Message to viewers. If you face harassment or discomfort at work, don't hesitate to speak up. Protecting yourself is everyone's right. Closing. Thank you for listening to my story. If you find it helpful, please like and subscribe to Reddit Echoes to continue hearing more multidimensional and insightful real-life stories. Thank you for taking the time to listen to today's story here on Reddit Echoes. Every story is a slice of life, and I hope it has brought you reflection, empathy, or at least a fresh perspective on the challenges and joys we all face. If you found this story meaningful or have similar experiences to share, don't hesitate to leave a comment below. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss another heartfelt, moving, and engaging story. Until next time, take care of your health, love yourself, and cherish those around you. I'm your name or nickname, and I look forward to seeing you in the next Reddit Echoes video.